All right. You want to kick things off, Jules?
Hello, you bunch of legends.
Oh,
it's
here we
time for the Budgie Smugglers podcast. My name's Jeremy Dooley, stand-up comedian, and I am joined, as always, by stand-up comedian Stephen Bradshaw. We are taking a light look at the serious world.
Talking about what little we do know on the Budgie Smugglers, Jules. How's your week, mates? How you been?
Yeah, look, I've been a little bit crook actually for most of last week.
That's
so
on you.
It actually worked out all right. I was planning on taking a week off doing gigs, and it probably kind of got forced on me anyway.
Yeah.
So I did one. Actually, I did two gigs. It was I did Frankston Brew House, a brewery in Frankston, which it was great actually. I closed out the show there, so that was good. I've played there a few times. It's one of those ones where it's a fairly quick show, like a 90-minute sort of show, handful of comedians. It was a good time. That you get a good meal there as well. The food, because you get a lot of gigs that you don't necessarily get full reign of the menu.
Yes.
As the act, they might give you some stuff before you even ask the question. Here's a bowl of chips or wedges or whatever, some pizzas. But here, they're like, whatever you want on the menu. Anything you want on the menu.
Did you get a steak? What'd you get?
Well, I thought about it, but...
you don't want to be that guy.
Well, because I was on last as well. Like, if I was on first, I would have picked very, very differently. Maybe got like a pizza or like a grazing plate or something like that. Or the pork belly. That was walking around. I was like, geez, that looks fantastic. But because I was on last, you got to strategically pick. You don't want something too heavy.
Of course.
I was doing, I wasn't doing a long set. I was doing 15 minutes. So I went the salt and pepper
calamari.
Yeah, it was good.
Good choice.
It was good. It's like on a bed of rocket, some aioli. Like it was good.
Chips?
No chippies.
Yep.
Not before a show for me. Like too heavy in the guts.
All right. I like that. What we need to do, we need to figure out maybe just Melbourne, because if we go outside of Melbourne, it's a bit much, but which like regular weekly gigs have the best food menu?
Yeah.
And what to order?
Yeah, that would be up there. Frankston Brew. It's not a regular. I think they're
monthly. I think maybe. Frankston Brew.
That's a good one. The Comedy Lounge in Perth does great food.
I thought you were going to say Melbourne.
Yeah, no, the Comics Lounge in Melbourne. Yeah, probably not.
Great comedy.
Yeah,
amazing comedy. But
the Comedy Lounge in Perth, like in the green room, like you don't get. There's no menu, but they will walk in some like good pizzas and some
that's nice.
And stuff like that. I think last time I was there, they had sliders maybe. But yeah, really good food there. So that was good. At the brew house, great crowd. It was packed. That was cool. And then on Sunday, yesterday, for those who are playing at home, I did a wedding gig, which was I've never done a wedding gig before. So it was myself.
Always interesting.
Maz Matter and Ash Filzame, and we
international all-star headliner lineup.
Yeah, it was pretty wild. It was good fun. So the two people getting married, both stand-up comedians,
very good stand-up
Andrew Isles and Mimi Shaheen is a killer,
absolute star
comedian, and they asked the three of us to do a set at their wedding, which was cool because they've been at comedy for a long time.
Did you get to do that in lieu of a present?
I still gave a present. Yeah.
Which is the right thing to do.
Yeah. It was, it now that I think about it, like it ended up being a very expensive day for me.
Yeah, I was going to say, but what better gift is the gift of laughter, Jules?
Oh, it was good. So I followed Maz Matter, and he's a absurdist prop comic. I think it's the best way to describe
That is a great way to describe it.
Yeah, but he wasn't doing that.
Oh, was he doing?
No, he was doing straight stand-up, but in Arabic. Mimi Shaheen being Syrian, so they speak Arabic. So he did it purely catered to sort of that portion of the room. There's a few oldies where, English, but they speak it, but may have been like a step or two slow for things to register. So he spoke it in language. That was great. like I'm Maltese, so like our language is quite similar.
Yep.
So I was trying to like keep up. I was like, oh, I recognize that word. I like, but he did great. Then I went on and did a few minutes, and I also very cheekily incorporated some of Mimi Shaheen's bits into my set, just as a nice little like
She'd love that.
sly roast. She loved it and hated it, I think, at the same time. So that was good. And then Ash, got on and closed that out. So it was a great show. Weird one. Like there's a couple of photos floating around and it looks like I'm performing to no one.
Yes,
because everyone there was so far away from where the stage was. But it was great. I was prepared to bomb, and I was very almost expecting to bomb, and didn't bomb. They were a great crowd. They laughed. They laughed big. Much bigger than I was anticipating. I got like a mini applause break at one point.
Love that.
And I was like, okay, cool. I'll take it. So it was good. The voice is a bit sort of, we're struggling a little bit. We'll see how we go by the end of this.
You'll be fine. You'll be fine.
That was me. How about you? What'd you get up to?
I had a few gigs last week. Friday, I did the big 2.5 hour in traffic trek to Bendigo for a gig at the National Hotel, maybe.
Sure, there's a National Hotel.
Yeah, there's a National Hotel.
Wasn't it the Golden Vine, was it?
No, it wasn't at the Golden Vine. I wish it was at the Golden Vine. I miss the old Golden Vine. But it was, not a huge crowd, but a lovely crowd. Old
Punched
crowd.
above their weight?
Oh, it was one of those ones where you're like, this is going to be rough.
Yeah.
And
it's a long way to go for a rough gig.
And shout out to Alex, man, who ran the gig. And we were sitting out the front having a beer and a dart before the show. Classic comedians meeting. And he starts running through the lineup and he goes, I'm going to go on first. Then it's going to be Jet, Nye. And then I pretty much instantly said, oh, you don't want to start this gig off strong? Murdered at the table, and then out of spite he made me go first, so that was tough. I had to go on first. Not really an MC, it was more of a baton passing type of a deal as well, which I think we were all for, because it looked grim at the start of the gig and we're like, let's just get through this as quick as possible. But got them, they started laughing, they were into it, they were into a bit of crowd work, all that kind of stuff. So it looked like it was going to be a tough one, but it ended up being pretty good.
Yep.
And then on Saturday night, a bit of a fundraiser for the mighty Cardinia Storm Hockey Club. You're a big fan of it.
Yeah, I was going to say they're my favourite hockey.
Hockey. Field hockey.
Field hockey, good.
Field hockey, yes.
In Cardinia, near the Cats. Are they near Geelong?
No, that was what confused me.
Oh, the other Cardinia, near like Casey Fields?
I think it might be. It's in Pakenham. Is that near Casey?
Yeah.
Who knows? Who cares? But they were very, very lovely. Good turnout. Great crowds. Great setup. Shout out to Lauren and everyone. The president, whatever his name was, Pete probably. But they were very, very lovely. Everyone had a good time. So that was very fun. Good weekend of gigs.
Absolutely. What did you get food at that gig? Did they feed you at any of the gigs you did?
They didn't get any food.
Even pub
at any of the gigs. Not at the pub.
What?
It was the first thing I said when I got there, because it's a long drive, 2.5 hours.
It's a long drive to have not many people in an audience.
And I said, how many free beers do we get at this gig? And he said none. And I should have known from then on. This is like, fuck my life. It's a shocker. But I tell you where there will be meals this Saturday night at Ocean Reach Brewing. Anyway, we'll get to that later. But pretty good. I did do something last week for the first time. It was I took my partner, the lady friend, to the airport.
Okay.
The first drop off at the airport. It's a big move in any relationship. I want to ask you, new relationship, do you drop them off in the 1 minute drop off section, or do you park and walk them in? This is a domestic flight, not an international.
You drop them at the drop off, but you get out of the car.
I think I might have this, after nearly 40 years, might have this relationship figured out, because that's exactly what I did. I went to 1 minute, got out, took the bags out. But I was, in the back of my mind, I'm like, she's from Scotland. I don't know what they do over there.
Headbutt.
Yeah. I don't know. We're supposed to go just start fights with people. Yeah. Start playing the bagpipes as she goes to check in her bags. I don't know what they do. But I was wondering, I'm like, was I supposed to do I don't think she thought I was supposed to, but I just wanted to get your opinion.
No, that's exactly, you do the drop off, you turn off the car, okay? I think
A banger was. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Unless depends on what song's on. If it's
I think I did turn off the car.
if it's a good song on, you can leave the car on because that'll just add to the
Just
soundtrack.
the accessories. Yep.
Yep. And then you get out, you get their stuff out.
Yep.
And then little kiss and a cuddle.
Yeah. All right. Absolutely nailed that drop off.
Right.
Cool. Good. Glad we could clear that
Are you
up.
doing the airport pickup?
I'm doing the airport.
Okay. And how are you going to play that card? Are you going to
The exact same, but in reverse.
Okay, cool. You're not going to park the car and be waiting at arrivals with a sign?
Not for a domestic.
No.
For an international and a long sort of wait. But this is, it's a week and a bit.
Yep.
I'm not doing the sign thing.
Where have they gone?
Darwin.
Ooh,
One of
it's
our
nearly
favourites.
international.
It basically is.
It is.
It's a different world.
Yeah,
Not a
it's-
different country. It's a different world.
Are you gonna when she does arrive? You're gonna go to a Luxor place in Melbourne, Luxor King maybe in Flemington.
Maybe. Are they good, Luxor?
Yeah.
Do you know since we went to Darwin, if you don't know, we said, what should we do? Expecting you should go see the crocodiles.
Yep.
You should go see this beautiful museum. You should go up to the Humpty Doo pub, do all these touristy things. Every single person, the first thing they said, you've got to go to the markets on Saturday and get a Lasker from, it was like Miss Lasker or something like that.
Mary's Luxor.
it was
at
too.
the Parup Market because
Oh,
I've
you got
been
better.
back.
Oh, that's right. You did
I've been
too.
back since. But it is the best Luxor in Australia. Darwin, as a
Yes.
city, is that's their whole thing.
Because of that
Luxor.
Malaysian influence. Hopefully she brings some back for me on the flight, just on the Jetstar. But I've been trying to find Luxor in Melbourne. Ever
Luxor
since
King,
then.
Flemington.
Okay. All right. I'll give it a shot.
What speak like food on a flight? Are you a take food or snack onto a flight person?
Snack, if it's a long flight, I'm telling you, I'm bringing some Maltesers or something. Maybe some chips, definitely water. But no, I'm not bringing on warm food.
I don't really take much on, but I would normally go into the Virgin Lounge beforehand and eat my fill, and then I'm chill for the flight. But I remember once, I want to say it was 2021, maybe 2022. So it was when it was sort of tail end of lockdown enough that you could the borders were opened up around the country, but you still had to wear a mask on your flights.
Yes.
So I feel like it was 2021, could have been 2022. I remember I was very new into comedy though, because I remember talking about this on stage. On the flight, I was flying Melbourne to Sydney. I was in the middle seat, which I don't care for.
Yep.
I'm an aisle seat guy, but I was flying Jetstar at the time, so I didn't get to pick.
No.
I'm normally Virgin, I get to pick. The guy to my left, so the window seat, he was it's not about him, but he was watching some really questionable stuff on his laptop to the point where when he opened his laptop and saw what he'd left on screen, he shut the laptop very quickly.
And for our because we've got a few people in Japan and US, shout out to those. We're talking 45-minute flight, an hour long flight?
Yeah, hour and 10, I think it is, from start to finish.
Not a long flight.
No, not a long flight. You basically, by the time you actually get up to cruising speed, you're there for 20 minutes and then you start the descent then. The guy to my right on the aisle seat, sitting there, halfway through the flight, opens up the internal pocket on his blazer, pulls out a Ziploc bag, one prawn in it.
No, what are you? One prawn?
One prawn, not
Cooked,
a prawn
peeled.
cutlet. No, the full head and legs and stuff like that.
Oh, you're kidding me.
But,
It's Christmas morning
Yeah,
in his pocket.
It was wild. So he pulls down the tray table, gets a napkin out, and then peels the prawn, eats the prawn, folds everything back up, puts it all in the Ziploc bag, puts it back in his pocket like it was a normal thing to do. Now
That is wild. That is
insanely I was
wild.
I've spent years thinking about this man. So this you can't buy that at the airport. It's not in a lounge or anything like that. Prawns like that. So this would have traveled with him from him leaving home or wherever he
Ice
left
in the back?
from.
Anything? Just
No,
straight?
just straight singular one prawn. And he took
find
down
that
his mask,
disturbing.
chewed it, ate it, put it back in his pocket.
Little thing of cocktail sauce or anything?
Nope, just
straight.
ate it like sweaty pocket prawn.
Oh, that is the grossest thing I might have ever smell.
Oh, yeah. And I don't have a good sense of smell.
Yeah.
And I was like, oof, it's a prawny smell. People were looking. People were looking around being like, is someone eating seafood on this plane?
In a suit, did he strike you as a regular traveller?
He was dressed, he was suited up.
Yeah. So he does this regularly.
Yeah.
He's like, well, we're 5 minutes in, time to crack out the prawn.
Let's get the prawns out.
That's insane.
Yeah, it was wild.
If anyone has met this man on a flight, please contact us and the, I don't know, AIF?
Wild. It was, I don't know. It was mental. It's, how's your prawn? But do you still do that prawn bit on stage?
One day.
All right.
One day. Speaking of Darwin.
Let's get into the comments.
Oh, the comment section still going off. These soccer nuffy stools.
Man, they are going at me in particular.
Yeah, but it's mostly anti-you this week, which is a good reprieve for me for a change, which is very, very good. But lock in. Go.
Right. Well, we got a few non-soccer ones first. So the first one's a question that got sent to my DMs, but based off last week's podcast where I spoke about a really rough gig, and this is from Macy J
86.
Macy J 86, I think. Sorry. You spoke of bombing, but it sounds like sometimes it's about the conditions. What other bomb stories do you have?
Again, I've never bombed. It just doesn't happen. So I'm the wrong person to ask. I think sometimes it is about conditions, but I think I'm new enough to where if I'm just trying not to bomb as bad as everyone else is kind of how. So you can, I think when you're talking about classic Macy J86 question as well, by the way. Thank you, Macy. But when you go into one of those gigs and it's rough and the conditions are maybe an MC that's new, or maybe the first act has said something maybe untoward, or there's been a lot of dark comedians that can happen at an open mic type situation where it's just trying to shock with inappropriate comments and you just lose the crowd and then you get up there. And there's been many a time where I've gone in there and I feel like my job tonight's just to reset the crowd and try and tell some funny jokes I know work. That's kind of the worst type of bomb.
When it doesn't work.
When it doesn't work, or you can see where you get a couple of laughs, which in any other situation could be a huge bomb. But you're like, all right, at least I picked up the crowd, but also... that's my night done. And it feels like a complete waste. So I think that's like a conditional bomb. What about you, Dools?
Yeah, I think sometimes the conditions, and like I'm at a point where I'm not doing ambush gigs anymore. So an ambush gigs were bomb central. Ambush gigs, there was always so an ambush gig for those listening or watching is when the audience might be having dinner at a pub, and then all of a sudden someone walks on stage, but hey, there's a comedy show. It's starting now, and none of them were aware that there was comedy about to happen.
The roughest type of gig.
Had that happen many times in my first couple of years. And you still, like, every now and then I'll drop into an open mic if I've got like something I just want to talk out where, the conditions for the gig aren't good. Like, there's not seats facing the front. They're just sort of scattered around. But one gig that does stand out to me about the conditions before I bombed was at a gig in Williamstown. I may have spoken about this on the show before. And it was at an old man pub is how I like to describe it. Like, this pub hadn't changed since the 70s.
I used to live in Williamstown. Was it on the Esplanade, or is it the one inside of... It
was the Rose of Australia.
I know the one.
It's since been redone, like only in the last few weeks, and it looks like a soulless shit show. So I'm not a fan of that. But it was like old school pub, and in the dining sort of room there, the bistro bit, that's where the gig was, and it was always I was still an open micer, so it was always a professional comedian headliner and a professional comedian MC, and then the support acts. It would have been 8 open micers.
Okay, yep.
And this was like a fortnightly gig. And I'd done this gig a few times. The guys who ran the gig really liked me because I would just turn up and I just was kind of relentless, and I was able to get laughs as well. So that was good. But this gig, no one was getting laughs. I remember a comedian rocked up, and at the time he's quite an experienced comedian, no longer does comedy, and he looks at me and he's like, I don't do comedy for this audience. I do it for inner city Melbourne.
Sick, bro.
Yeah, and these people were just like regular people.
Yeah.
Like we're in Williamstown, all right? It's not like we're in a regional centre. Everyone was bombing. A comedian before me, who will come up a little bit in the comments, he did a joke that triggered a fight in the room. So he did a bit, a Holocaust joke that did not go well.
I hate it when your Holocaust jokes don't go well and turn off the audience.
Yeah, but everyone was bombing. There'd been no laughs in the room at this point. Tom Seagate was the MC, very experienced comic, very funny comedian.
Very funny
Great MC too. And like he was working hard. He was getting laughs, but he was the only one. All the acts at this point had gotten literally no laughs. And so this guy, he did this Holocaust bit, didn't go well. And this woman at the back, she wasn't saying it to him, but just had a thought bubble that she verbalized. It was like, oh, geez, that's a bit intense. And the comedian on stage just teed off on her and was just like, you know what? I'm done. Puts the mic in the stand, goes and walks. And he looks at me. He's like, I'm so sorry. And he sits down. This woman's husband stands up, and this guy was built like a fridge with arms and legs and like waddles over to this comedian. He's like, I'm going to fucking throttle you, mate. Let's fucking go. And then the comedian just starts running his mouth back because he's like, well, there's cameras here. Let's do it in here. And they just kept going. Tom Seagate looks at me and he's like, I'll do 5 minutes to like sort of distract the audience in a small room.
Yeah.
Did his 5 minutes and he looks at me, he's like, I'm so sorry. By this stage, they'd gone outside, but everyone was like trying to look out the window to see the punch on.
Yeah, of course.
May have been ensuing. And then I got on and didn't bomb.
If I'm on stage as a comedian, I'm going outside to watch.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
you have to acknowledge it. And so like I didn't necessarily bomb, but the conditions for it, my first joke got a huge laugh and the first big laugh of the whole gig. Everything else after that kind of bombed.
Yeah.
That first one cut the tension. But sometimes that's not my fault. So like it's, it's sort of thing that happens. Do you want to go to the next comment?
It's a good point. Anytime that any comedian bombs, they'll let you know it's not their fault.
Yeah.
We were talking about the USA versus the World All-Star Game next year, 2026. James Demi-Collie commented that Dyson Daniels is a lock to make the world team. So, which I think we agreed with.
Yeah. I think it depends if the game is done seriously and they're trying to win, obviously.
All right, so there's a lot of fact checkers out there this week, dudes.
Okay, a lot of Tottenham Hotspur nuffies. So a bunch of them. So I said that Jose Mourinho got the ass the week before a Champions League final. It was before a final. Yeah. Regardless, when you're a pissant team like Tottenham who doesn't win anything, it's before a final. That's a big deal for you. And so I had a few people slide into my DMs, a few people comment on things saying it was a Leagues Cup final, not Champions League. All right, we get it. Okay, we don't necessarily do research. Do your own research.
Yeah.
Also had various say about Ange Postecoglou. We should have done more in the league. Just avoiding relegation wasn't good enough. We're a big club and should be trying to get that 5th spot. If you are a big club. Yeah, and now I'm being polite there. A lot of them were being like, we should have been finishing high, like mid-table and stuff like that. It's like, okay, cool. Finish mid-table then and not win a trophy. What would you rather do? That is Spursy mentality. You are a pissant club.
That is so funny. We should be trying to get in that 5th spot.
Yeah, trying to get that Champions League spot. I get it. Champions League's a big deal. You just got into Champions League because you won Europa League, because you rolled the dice on that. You hadn't won anything for 17 years. Like, oh, it's not good enough. Like, all right, cool. Go back to not winning things.
Yeah.
Pilco commented, and there was a few things where, other people then started commenting on the comments, which we love. So Pilko commented, he also lost 22 games in the Prem. I think this was on TikTok. And to someone called Dave commented, you do realise the new manager's club lost 19 games the other season and finished 16th. He's won nothing, not even the championship, and never really managed elsewhere. So, yeah, you go, Tottenham.
More Tottenham Hotspurs being Spursy, as you like to call it, coming up, which is great. And you said it last week, not having to pretend like we like Tottenham Hotspurs.
No, exactly.
Who, honestly, I'd never even heard of until Ange joined. Because they are, like you said, a pissant club. Thank you, Dave. Nailed it.
Okay, now some more people having a crack at me. I made a lot of comments about Tony Popovich's Socceroos squad. And I do want to say, when I said the name Mitch Duke, that's not who I was in my mind. I was thinking Brandon Barello and a little bit Adam Taggart as well. Mitch Duke, though, wasn't in the original squad. He was in as a late replacement. So, Popper didn't even really pick him at the start. All right, so and then Mitch Duke, of course, put in a blinder in the game against Saudi Arabia, getting an assist and a goal.
On fire, old Dookie.
A lot of people said that aged well about Mitch Duke. Yes, but hey, at least I put my opinion out there, you faceless pissants online. Pissants is my word of the week.
It really is. You've never dropped it on the pod, but you've gone hard on it.
No. The charcuterie board commented, this podcast is a recession indicator. Hey, you've made your whole identity about a plate of salami. So,
go fuck yourself. No, it was great. We love the comments. Keep them coming. This is more soccer stuff, I assume. They just, the soccer nuffies love commenting
They
on
love
stuff.
me this week, don't
They really love you. And I like that you've picked out all of the shorter, because there were multiple paragraph comments that, and I kind of just tagged out because I didn't know what they were talking about. So good on you, Dulce. We'll get back to everyone. But Jay Bruce said, ignoring the fact, I assume this is about us beating Japan last week or the week before, ignoring the fact that Japan hardly even got a shot on target and we created the best chance of the game. You forget that we arguably played worse under Graham Arnold in the last World Cup qualifying and got our best, he's made some spelling mistakes here, result in the World Cup, which is, fair point. This is the kind of football that gets us far in the WC. And then in reply, Pat Pietro, which kind of, this is my sentiments for pretty much every comment I saw in the last week. Pat Pietro said, relax, it's not that deep.
Yeah, Pat gets it. Pat understands. Pat understands this. Look, okay, cool. Yeah, the Socceroos did play crap and they did get the win. But if your goal is to play horribly in every game and then rely on your left back scoring, then that's not a good game plan.
Fair enough.
Do you want me to read this one?
No, I'll do this one. This was great.
This is all about me.
This is because we were talking. We had a listener question last week or the last week or so. Who tries to act like they're normal? Who don't we like? And I think I mentioned LeBron James gives me the irrits. You mentioned Trent Cotchin. You thought he was a bit robotic.
Yep.
A bit boring.
Stand by it.
And we posted that up in I Am Lord Yaya on YouTube. Thank you, Lord. He said, I'd rather hear Trent Cotchin speak for 24 hours straight than hear you speak one word, which is quite good. It's quite good. Anyway, how would you like to respond to our Lord and Savior?
Oh, look, if you heard Trent Cotchin talk for 24 hours, you'd fall asleep for 24 years. So he is boring to listen to, and you are probably a Richmond nuffy who needs to get some sun, I think, is the thing there. Look, I think one of the things that gives me the irrits about Cotchin is I was at a charity function and I know for a fact that he had never heard about this charity before, didn't know what they did or anything like that, got on stage, did a speech about this charity and made it sound like he was like a big long-term fan and got around the cause, took no questions,
Yes, of course.
and rushed out straight away because he knew that he actually knew nothing. He just knew how to talk about things.
Yeah.
Had been media trained. And so, when you're media trained, you get sucked in if you're an audience. Like I am Lord Yaya.
It'd be like, I tell you what it'd be like, Dools. If I went to the fundraiser this weekend, we're raising funds for the mighty Cardinia Storm Hockey Club in Pakenham. Imagine if I went up there and I opened the show. The first words I scream out to the crowd is, "Heard we had a big win today, Cardinia," and then someone yells out, "Nope."
Yeah.
Imagine if that happened.
Yeah.
Imagine if that happened this weekend on Saturday. Thank you, Prez, for giving me false information. But
What a stitch up.
It was a great stitch up. Just like, no, I was like, this will get him going. This will get him going. I was just bringing up the MC. I wasn't even doing anything. I was just, I heard we had a big win today, Stormers. There was just like a solitary nope. Yeah, but I wouldn't do that because I'm not Trent Cotcham.
No.
All right. Speaking of that all started from a question. We got another question, Dools. I'm going to let you open it up, but it's from the Sporting and Talking podcast. You can find them on TikTok under Sporting and Talking. Thanks for reaching out and giving us this one. They have asked, who is the most overrated sportsman in Australian sporting history, Dools?
Oh, that's a really tough.
It's a tough question.
Tough one.
That's why I'm letting you open up because I haven't thought about it.
Okay, my mind. The first person that
I know who you're going to say too.
Oh, who am I going to say?
Just because you've completely disrespected her on this podcast so many times, and when we were in Sporting Globe, her name came up as the greatest ever.
No.
No? Okay, great.
No.
Good.
But their name did come up at the Sporting Globe event multiple times. I think Nathan Lyon. Is so overrated as a bowler. He gets a lot of wickets.
Bailey Smith for a second.
Bailey Smith, mate, if he gets a haircut, he instantly is not popular.
Yeah,
That's, the hair makes him stand out a little bit there. I think Nathan Lyon is incredibly overrated. Like, he bowls so many overs. He's come up in an era where Australia doesn't really have many good spinners as well. So he's kind of like a competent spinner, but because he's sort of had that spinner spot in the test team sort of on lock for years because there's no other spinners because they're always trying to find the next Warnie. No one can turn the ball like Warnie could. So he bowls heaps of overs. The whole, bowling Gary, like that's quite entertaining. I think overrated.
All right. That's a hot take. I also, funnily enough, I went cricket as well.
Really?
I think the most overrated sportsman in Australian sporting history is Sir Donald Bradman.
What?
He's like 99.9 runs per over. And he goes out in his last over, in his last ever innings, he goes out for a duck. You couldn't have made a couple more runs?
Oh, no, he's the king. Do you know why I think he's so good as well? Because he played in an era, no helmet.
Yeah, but I also think he played in an era where we're talking about like 1920s English people. Like, who are you beating, Don?
Yeah.
Do you think Pakistan had a strong spinner lineup in 1920?
What's the guy's name? Fred Spofforth? No, he was Australian.
Okay.
Yeah.
But like, who was the best player? Donald Bradman. No one ever talks about the players Donald Bradman talks about. It's not like Nathan Lyon is going up, he's bowled against Tendulkar, Lara.
Has he?
Fuck to find it. I don't know any cricketers that have played beyond 2005.
Yeah. I don't know if he...
Who's a good batsman nowadays? Anyone?
Sanath Jayasuriya still play for Sri Lanka? No, he'd be about 80.
I thought he was a badminton player.
Badminton? No, I don't know. Lance Klusner, does he still play? Do you remember him? He had
I'm trying to name
thick
one
cricket bat.
Who's that English guy? Anyway.
Kevin Peterson.
Kevin Peterson. Did he bowl against him or was that Warnie's time as well? Probably
maybe
not.
a bit of both. Maybe a bit of... He may have got Kevin Peterson on the downward slide. Bairstow.
I was going to say, who's he play for?
Mark Bairstow, Geelong. He was the captain.
Oh, he's captain. Yeah. He probably played
something Bairstow. Cameron Bairstow, the basketballer.
Oh, more on him in a few weeks.
Right.
But Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, I guess I'm proving your point, but like name one player that Donald Bradman ever had to face that wasn't an old Englishman.
Surely, like Viv Richards.
Viv Richards.
Nah.
The 1980s West Indian fast pace. Yeah, maybe.
I believe you said Bradman.
Well, I just think like Donald Bradman, who'd you ever beat? And how could you not get a couple of runs in your last over?
Yeah, who did Donald Bradman play tests against? I'm going to...
You look that up because the next thing we're going to talk about, because it has been a huge week in Aussie sports. We do have a lot to unpack. So why don't you look up Donald Bradman's cricket history? What did he play, like 6 games?
He played 52 test matches from 19. I mean, back then it would have been, but now because they play cricket like forever, that's probably not much. That's the other thing. Nathan Lyon plays in an era where they have like test match after test match after test match. Like it's not like seasonal like it used to be. He played 52 test matches for Australia between 1928 and 1948. World War II interrupted his career at its peak. He batted 80 times against...
So when he came back, half of his opponents were dead.
Yeah.
The English team didn't really have very many places to practice. I suppose they could have practiced down the main street of London. There was nothing there.
Yeah. He played against England, the West Indies, South Africa and India for an average of 99.94, made 29 test hundreds. He was dismissed the most. You'd love this. He was dismissed the most by an English bowler who was born on May 18th, 1905, obviously.
Yeah.
Dismissed Bradman 8 times in his career. I'm talking, of course, about Headley Verity.
So you're telling me the greatest Test cricketer or the greatest batsman of all time got got bowled out 8 times by who?
I don't know if bowled out, but took his wicket 8 times by Headley Verity.
Headley Verity. That is ridiculous. I'm going down this rabbit hole right now. Headley Verity. Let's have a look at his averages. His profile, like you said, 1905. Stats. Tests versus Australia. Highest. Oh, he's a bit of an all-rounder.
Oh.
His average. I don't even know what cricket stats mean. I don't know why I looked this up. What's his bowl? Anyway, his name's Headley. Need I tell more? Donald Bradman. What have you done for me lately? Wow. You know?
Wow.
I just think he's overrated. I tell you who's not overrated, Jules. The first person I want to speak about, the guy that you love to take a quick nap for 5 minutes in the middle of the pod.
I'm getting ready.
Oscar Piastri. Huge race. It was a big morning. I spent all morning watching F1 and the US Open. It was a great morning for me.
Tennis.
Close golf. But there was a huge race today in Canada. Oscar Piastri qualified 3rd, not his best. By the 3rd corner of the race, he dropped down to 4th, but his running mate, Lando Norris, the 2 top running drivers in the F1 Drivers' Championship, teammates, he'd qualified 7th, so he'd had an absolute stinker. It was a pretty tactical race, changing tyres, pit stops, all this kind of stuff, and it all came down to the last sort of 5 or 6 laps or so. Lando eventually caught up from 7th up to 5th with Oscar Piastri, and they had what was a wonderful exchange as Lando kept trying to overtake, and then Lando Norris tried to cut inside, smashed into the back of Piastri, took himself out of the race. Lando Norris pretty much ended the race. Lando Norris has a long history of just brain fades and not having the same consistency that Oscar has. Lando Norris has balls it up again, and now Oscar Piastri has a much, much more comfortable lead in the Drivers' Championships, sitting 22 points atop by his lonesome at the top of the F1 Drivers' Championship. It was very exciting, a good crash. Lando's stuffed it up. What are your thoughts, Dools?
Yeah, that's good. Is it good?
Yeah,
if
it's good.
If it's good,
I
it's
mean,
good, and if it's not good, that's real bad.
It's good. Piastri's, in the big picture, wasn't his day, wasn't McLaren's day, but just to see Lando stuff it up again was pretty great because a lot of people come after Oscar Piastri because English people, Dools, they don't have a lot of sports people to get behind. There's not a lot of Headley Verities
No,
going around nowadays. You know what I mean? They have to steal their cyclists from us, like that wanker Matthew Richardson. What sport are they? Can you name one sport they're doing well in?
No, not soccer. That's for sure.
Yeah, they suck at soccer. They've got no NBA players. I don't think of any note. Cricket, nowhere to be seen.
No, it's Australia versus South Africa at the moment, that test match.
I think we'll get to that in a bit. We lost.
Oh.
Yeah.
But England wasn't there.
England wasn't there. I don't know what other sport. Rugby union, I
Maybe.
think they like to play.
Netball? I think they got a good netball team, do they?
I don't think so.
No.
I doubt it. The hockey, maybe. Field hockey, I think.
Cycling?
Golf, maybe. No
Golf?
golfers. No one did well, but that's what I'm saying. England have no one to get behind, so they've been attacking Oscar Piastri. Anyone that says a bad word against Lando, they go after, and they've been very anti.
Lando's English.
Yeah.
I would never have picked that.
No, where
name.
did you think he was from a long time ago in a
like-
galaxy far, far away?
Like
perhaps.
Tatooine or something.
No, no, he's English, so it's been great. So the English people get behind him,
Lando.
and he just keeps ballsing it up, Dools, and it's great as an Aussie to watch. As everyone in England is just slowly realizing that even F1, one of their best sports, because I don't know, because there's no real athletic prowess needed to be a driver. And like England are like, maybe we have a shot at this sport.
Darts. They'd be good at darts.
They are good at darts,
Yeah.
actually. They're good at darts and pool, snooker,
Yeah.
that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So good on you for that. But they thought they were good at F1 and they're not good at that either.
No.
So it's pretty great.
Every race for them's like the Ashes.
Yeah. I mean, his car was in ashes after this crash, which was great. But, oh, man. Jules, I'll talk about this one just because you have no idea what it is. Again, this morning, had to watch this. Adam Scott went into the last day of the US Open, one of the big majors in sport, atop of the leaderboard, the final pack, the last
Number one.
two.
He was first.
I think he was second or
Okay,
third or
in
whatever,
the
but
pointy
in the running. He was right
Yep.
in the running. Stevie B might have put a little money down on it as well. Still came up, but was looking like, hello, is this Adam Scott's first major since 2013? And was looking good, was in second place, about 5 or 6, 10, 15 holes left to go, and then the rain came. Big break, changed the whole dynamic.
So they don't play when it's raining.
When it gets to a certain point. It was raining, drizzle's fine. When it starts really bucketing down and it becomes unplayable, they took a bit of a break for a while. When they came back, he just kind of capitulated. JJ something or other kind of went on a big roll. And
JJ Barea, the former...
Dallas Maverick?
Yeah.
No, it wasn't him, but it just sucked. The momentum, everything just kind of got sucked out of him. Obviously, it's a bit more difficult to play when it's wet. The greens are slower. It's harder to get contact on the ball. And he ended up actually having a stink. He went +8 and fell all the way back down to like 10th or 15th or something. Still in the top 20, which is what I had my bet on. But yeah, what was looking like a great potential comeback victory just slipped away from the old man. How does that make you feel, Jules?
I mean, I didn't know they played in the rain. That's, that's...
I mean, we're all learning here.
Yeah, that's... Does the caddy hold an umbrella?
Yep.
For them? Yeah.
Yep. Caddy holds the umbrella.
Well, so the caddy just gets wet?
Well, it's very interesting you bring this up because I was thinking this today because the caddy would hold it over the golfer and the golfer's just kind of going through his little book with all the yardages and the caddy's just getting drenched. And then the only time the caddy gets a reprieve is when because he can't do it while he's taking his shot, obviously, because you're in the way. But poor guy's just getting... But I guess that's why they get paid the big bucks.
Yeah, I was going to say, do they
I think
get
they
paid
get like
well?
10% of their purse, and I think, they make for a US Open championship. That's probably walked away, probably made $1 million today.
Jeez, there you go.
$21.5 million purse. So that's not bad. That's not bad. I should have looked this up. Adam Scott finished tied for 12th.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right. Australia lost to South Africa in the Test Cricket Championships.
Yes.
Again, another test thing there for Nathan Lyon to pad his stats.
Was Nathan Lyon playing?
I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't know this. I didn't know. I heard about this last week and then I just kind of lost track. But there's been a lot of cricket talk, which we've received many feedback about that. It's either we don't care, I really switch off when you talk about cricket, or it's people that care about cricket going, you should not be talking about cricket.
Yeah.
So,
no one's asking us to talk about it more. We started with a lot. We were talking about Brett Lee's band, Six and Out.
Yep.
And
actually, that was the only cricket-related thing we ever spoke about.
Yeah, Richard Cheekwee,
Yeah, Richard Cheekwee. Did you know there was a Test Cricket Championship stores? No. Up until last week, I had no idea.
When I saw, people on my social media being like watching the Aussies at Lords or wherever it was, I thought, oh, the Ashes on. I didn't know that. No.
No, it was just some random Test Cricket Championships for which we came up short against the Springbok South Africa. I didn't even look up the stats or whatever. Like I said, didn't even really know it was on doors.
Yeah, Jacques Callis probably turned in a blinder.
Jacques Callis?
Yep.
The milkshake lady.
Yeah, Jacques Callis, brings all the boys to the yard.
Yep. What else we got? Here you go. You can take this one.
Okay, our favourite, the icon of the show, Guacamole Picklum, again falls short in the final, finishing second in California, and Jack Robinson, J-Rob, what did we decide his nickname was?
It was the Vortex Shaman.
Yeah, lost in the semis.
But J-Rob... Was it? Oh, no, it was Jack Robbo.
Yeah, J. Robbo or something.
Jack Robbo, I
the
think.
Vortex Shaman.
Is what we'll forever know him. But Molly Picklum just again hasn't jagged a final yet. Still sitting third. Still sitting third in the championship. She's been ultra consistent, but just hasn't got the job done. I mean, you watch her a lot, Dools. What do you think she needs to do just to get over that little hump?
Oh, just, her backhanders.
Speaking of backhanders, Ash Barty just had a baby yesterday. Dools, did you hear about this?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What sport will that kid play? Because played a lot of...
Might be a surfer.
Surfer, maybe.
Who knows? Oh, wait. No, I want to ask you this one. Australia's Michael Matthews, Dools. Australia's Michael Matthews. Sorry, Smugglers. I'm just excited to see what Dools says. Is all. Australia's Michael Matthews has been ruled out of this year's Tour de France due to a what?
Okay, all right. So I'm gonna use my power of deduction here. Michael Matthews, probably related to former Australia Test spinner Greg Matthews, maybe went to Turkey for a hair transplant and has therefore somehow ingested performance-enhancing drugs into his head and can't compete.
Do you want one more guess?
A coccyx injury. He's broken his tailbone because he was preparing for the Tour de France in France and took a dive and landed bum first and broke his tailbone.
You were close. It was a pulmonary embolism.
Jesus, yeah.
Which
wasn't advanced hair.
Don't you hate it when you're about to go for a big, long bike ride across France and you get a pulmonary embolism, Dools?
That is bad.
Pulmonary embolism, for those who don't know, sorry that you're stupid, but it's a serious condition where one or more blood clots block an artery in the lungs, restricting blood flow. I mean, whether or not that's related to his coccyx injury or his hair transplant, we're not sure about. But yes, all our thoughts and prayers. I'll just start praying now out of nowhere for, and I've already forgotten his name.
Michael Matthews.
Michael Matthews. But obviously we don't want to see anyone get, hopefully he's okay. I'm sure he's fine. It's probably all those pesky little EPOs getting stuck in the veins. You know how it is, Dools, with our cyclists. But all the best to MM, they call him.
I feel like he's someone who you got to say his full name. You're like, hey, Michael Matthews in the room. You got to say full name, first name.
It sounds like there's two people both were first name.
Yeah,
double,
Michael
but there's
and
two
Matthews.
of us. Oh my God, it's the Michael Matthews.
Yeah.
Very good.
Tell you what, I'm excited for this one. Former Supercars star Shane Van Gisbergen
Yes.
has claimed his second career NASCAR race win at the rain-affected inaugural Viva Mexico 250 at the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez. What? At the Autodome Rodriguez brothers track.
He sure has, Jules. Sometimes this is one of those cases where we like to claim a Kiwi because they'd won something.
Oh, he's Kiwi.
He's a Kiwi, but we'll take him because he spends all his time in Australia.
Van Gisbergen. Okay, yeah.
But yes, very good on the supercars, won a ton of titles and stuff. And this is a NASCAR race. It's very difficult to win. So NASCAR, if you don't know, Jules, is when cars just drive around in a circle for 4 fucking hours. Yeah. And could be the most boring car race in the world. But what happens twice or so a year, they take all these rednecks in their stupid cars that only go one way and they put them on an actual racetrack. Ooh. And then someone like a Shane Van Gisbergen or in the past a Marcus Ambrose that knows how to do more than this. Because damn, I didn't know this thing could turn around. Like they're so dumb. Americans are so dumb. They have to do more than a slight left veer on a track, and then a Kiwi of all people comes up and just destroys them. They had to, his pit crew were telling him to slow down because it was embarrassing everyone. But that's what I mean. You take a NASCAR driver from the south, you take them off at just a one-way track and they just get lost. Most of these drivers had their GPS on the entire time because they were just useless. But it was so funny. And then you take a bunch of rednecks from the south on a difficult road in Mexico.
Oh, no, in Mexico as well. They had to cross the wall that they fought so hard for.
Exactly. The walls around the track weren't big enough for them. They didn't feel safe. But yes, it was very good to see someone that's done very well in Oz go over to America and make the Americans look stupider than they already make themselves look, Jules.
Yes, well done. Out of that. Well done to Shane Van Gisbergen, who's obviously since been deported. All right, I'll tell you one thing I'm very excited about. Again, he's a Kiwi, but it's for my team. Steven Adams has re-signed for 3 years at $39 million and will stay at the Houston Rockets. We love this. Love this. As a Houston fan, the two big lineups with Steven Adams and Alperen Şengün were very hard to handle for opposition teams and
look good. He, it's a good sign when he sort of spends a lot of time on the bench. He's a backup big, but when it comes to nut crunch time, Steven Adams' minutes just kept going up
just
and up
hulks
and up. I think 3 year, $13 million. There's a lot of talk about someone like a lot of people could have used Steven Adams' services, but it says a lot about him, and it says a lot about what Houston's doing at the moment, that they were able to lock him in before free agency opened, and that's a good deal. I think 3 years, 40. He could have gone maybe a couple more mil, maybe a couple of less, but I think that's right around the mark for a man like himself that can do 15 to 25 a night, get you offensive rebounds, putbacks, blocks, solid.
Yep.
Locker room guy.
Great interviewer. Can't hit a free throw, but that's okay.
Not too many Maoris running around in the NBA. So always good to see a fellow Polly on the court. That's Polynesian, not polyamorous, if you were wondering. Budgie smugglers can get confusing. Who is the best polyamorous NBA basketball player, Jules, off the top of your head?
Lou Williams.
Lou Williams?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. Which one's polyamorous again? Polyamorous. Lou Williams. Lou Williams, probably in the 90s, would be Dennis Rodman, I imagine.
Yeah.
Lou Williams,
Sean
definitely.
Kemp.
Sean Kemp.
Sean Kemp.
I don't know if you can classify that as polyamory.
No, just doing work.
Just putting up shots.
Getting the job done.
While we're on basketball, actually, before we get onto that, there's more New Zealand news for some reason and soccer news. But I saw this in the news. Bayern Munich showed no mercy to amateurs Auckland City at the Club World Cup on Sunday, beating New Zealand 10-0 Dools.
Yeah.
What happened?
I mean, they're amateurs coming up against one of the best clubs on the planet.
What's the Club World Cup, and how did an amateur team in Auckland City come up against one of maybe top 10 superpower clubs in the world?
Because Auckland City won some were like the best team in the Oceania Confederation.
Okay,
I think.
Can the A-League teams get into that?
No, because we play in Asia.
Interesting. But it's always good just to see New Zealanders get fucking annihilated by a bunch of Germans.
Yeah.
Bayern Munich, German.
Yeah.
They're not German, but
it's the Germans.
It was pretty funny. I thought it was funny. But back to basketball. What do you just quickly? It doesn't involve much of Australia. Alex Condom.
No,
that's the wrong word. Alex Condon.
Alex
Dukas. Alex Dukas, our man, the guy that we can't stop talking about. We love Alex Dukas here. Always springs to mind when I think of NBA basketball.
Look at Johnny Furphy.
Johnny Furphy. He's been getting some. There was one game where he went up to the scorer's table to check in, but then he didn't check in and he went back to the bench. That was pretty good. But so we've got a bit of Aussie action in there, but what has your thoughts just quickly, because we haven't spoken about it.
I mean, look, it's so currently at time of recording, it's 2-2. It's going to be, I think it'll get to game 7.
You think it'll get to game 7?
Yeah, I think so. I think OKC will win.
So OKC win this next game at home, then you think Indiana pull a rub it out the bag?
Yep,
then
home wins.
Yep, I like that. I don't know if it'll make it past 6. I think they got broken in the last game. All right, kick things off with this. We've got a few more soccer, actually. Budgie Smugglers are going to be happy.
Oh, yeah, well, yeah, geez, then we're going to cop it. Ange Postecoglou's being linked to a role in the Saudi Arabian League with Al Ahly, according to reports from The Telegraph. I don't think that'll happen. I think he'll want to go to a big club in a big league and show that he can do it. And then maybe, once he's sort of ticked all those boxes, take a good paycheck in Saudi Arabia.
I'd imagine this Al Ahly job in Saudi Arabia would be paid bigger than anywhere else in the world.
It'd be huge. They throw money at players and coaches. Like he'd have a phenomenal team of like superstar players. But I think they just won the Asian Champions League, maybe. I don't know. But I think they won something, and their coach is under pressure. So like that's the sort of like, I don't know if you necessarily want that. He needs a few seasons. Ange, first season, weed out the players who can't play his system. Second season, always wins something. Always wins
a trophy. If you were Ange Postecoglou, and let's face it, you basically are, what would your next move? Would you go down a division and get that club? Because that's always a big feather in the cap, isn't it? Getting up a division. What would you do? Or would you go to another big EPL club? Would you try somewhere else?
I think he'll stay. I reckon it'll be either England. There's talks Italy. Mm-hmm. I don't think he'll go to the Greek Super League, but maybe the Greek national team could be an option as well. Being he's Greek Australian, so he could do that. He's not going to
Greek national team for the upcoming World Cup.
Get him going, get him up and about, which would be a huge change in how they play. Greeks famously park the bus and like to grind it out.
Yeah, well, they can't drive the bus anywhere with all those smashed plates in front of it.
Exactly.
They're going to pop the tyres.
Right. So who knows? He's got time. He's got a huge payout. He got like 10 mil just to like...
Oh, okay. So there's no point... Well, I mean, money's money. Let's, if someone's going to throw a bunch of money, who's to say we wouldn't take it? But he's got plenty of time. He can go over, do something a bit more impressive than cash in, you reckon? Mm-hmm. Ooh, I like this. The Greek team. Have they qualified for World Cup?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I don't know.
But the biggest news in soccer, of course, Jules, even though you thought They couldn't have done a worse job picking the team. The Socceroos are in the World Cup with a 2-1 win over Saudi Arabia. Give us a breakdown. What did you think?
Against Japan, it was a horrible game. We played putridly and got in by the skin of our teeth, which put us in 99.5% across the line. Saudi Arabia, we just needed to not lose by 5 goals. And look, they played, but he made a few tweaks to the lineup, starting Yazbek, good move. I think it's just the squad that needs work. A lot of people were coming at me being like, oh, he can't just pick young players. It's not about picking young players. It's about picking who's in form and who's playing in good leagues and who's playing every week in form in good leagues. Not just picking players who are he coached at Western Sydney or at Perth or at Melbourne, So it's good that they're in the World Cup. That's good. That should be the minimum. That should be the expectation. We want to do well at the World Cup, not just be happy to be there. Yeah. That's what I reckon.
Fair enough. Also,
it was moving to the next. It was on Paramount Plus as well. I hate that.
Well, I wanted to chat about it because I don't think I've missed when we get to the pointy end of qualifying. Certainly World Cup games. I'm not a big soccer person. Anyone that's listened to the pod knows. Anyone that's seen any of our clips online, you'll notice I don't say shit because I don't know what's going on. But the World Cup qualifying, as always, I don't think I've missed one since 2000. Any World Cup game I haven't missed since in the last 25 years or whatever. I had no idea the World Cup qualifying was on. And, I'm a big sports follower. I host a sports podcast. I went to the Sporting Globe twice in the last 14 days just to watch sport. But I keep a pretty close fingers on the pulse when it comes to Aussie Sport. And I really did. If I wasn't hosting this podcast, I wouldn't have known about it because it was nowhere. And then I had no idea where I could watch it. I found it very, very, I don't know what they're doing. What are they doing with the promotion of the game? I felt like soccer was having a big surge maybe 10, 12 years ago, rising in popularity. It feels like it's dying compared to some of the other codes like AFL, NRL, basketball, MMA, even F1, I would say. What do you think soccer needs to do to bring back its notoriety in Australia?
They need to do more social media marketing. Relying on traditional media in Australia is not going to work because the traditional media hates soccer.
Yep.
The great example was before the A-League's grand final, the Melbourne Derby, Channel 9 and 7 were sending crime reporters to the march to the ground. And it was just people walking to the ground singing. There may have been the odd flare, but then Canterbury Bulldogs, they were taking over the streets, lighting flares, doing the exact same thing, but way more boisterous, way drunker. And there was reported just a bit of Aussie fun and larrikins. So I think that media perception has to change. I think, the Football Australia can do better at promoting the game on the social channels, and Socceroos and Matildas have to be, every one of their games has to be on free to air. You can't have a game behind a paywall on a streaming service that no one gives a toss about. Who the hell has Paramount Plus?
Different if it's Netflix or something like that where everybody at least could steal a neighbor's account or whatever. But Paramount Plus, what are you doing?
Only the diehard of the diehards have Paramount Plus because that's where the A-Leagues is on. But it's a shit streaming. No one uses it because it's also a glitchy shit streaming service. So if Socceroos, Matilda's got to be on free to air.
Exactly, I agree, and that did make me think about how it's AFL isn't on free to air at Saturday.
On a Saturday.
If you think that that's going to have a big impact on popularity of that sport,
I think people are starting to cotton on to the fact that the AFL, the brand, the head office, the decision makers are a bunch of money hungry grubs and don't care about the fans. People are starting to cotton on to that.
I think so.
But people will still go because they're spoon-fed everything from the media of AFL, having worked in the AFL and been on all sides of the fence there, they run the media and control the media narrative and the media space and attention very well. They're a very powerful entity in Australia, and Football Australia can probably learn a few things about the AFL approach.
Love it. Dools, fingers on the pulse. Absolutely love it. We've got a couple of new segments, Dools, which is great because we're running well over time. But this, I've gotten excited and I've started a new collection. I'm a bit of a collector. Obviously, significant addiction control issues with the smoking and the drinking and whatnot. But, I've collected records in the past, comic books, all that kind of stuff. But I've got this new obsession now where I am going to attempt to get every single Australian NBA player's rookie card, rookie autograph card, or just their regular rookie card if they don't have an autograph card or something like that. So I just thought, very, very cool that we've had so many Aussies in the NBA. I've got a spreadsheet down, and each week I'm going to bring in one of my new finds. And this week, Dools, I picked up, this is my first one that I've ever gotten. It's a Josh Green rookie prism red thing. Don't know if you can see that. I'll clip it up. I'll take some photos of it, but it's a very, very cool card. Before we get into, and I thought we could use this as a way to sort of talk about these players a little bit more in depth than normal, spend a couple of minutes on them. But firstly, what do you think about my new obsession?
I think it's interesting that you started a card collecting obsession when your girlfriend went interstate for work. I think that's interesting. It's a lot to unpack.
No crossover there. She has been made aware of this new collection, cool. And she said, "What are you, a fucking child?" Which can't do Scottish accents yet, but. She doesn't love it, but I'm digging it. I'm really digging just finding the history. A lot of these, especially some of these 90s players that don't have rookie autos, getting their rookie cards. So I'll be bringing those in. But tell the listeners a little bit about Josh Green, Dools.
He was drafted by the Dallas Mavericks as a defensive shooting guard, and now plays at Charlotte.
Where that helps. I've written all these in notes for you.
Oh, there we go. Well. Yep, drafted number 18th. 18th overall by the Dallas Mavericks, former Sydney Sider. That's where he grew up. Just under 300 games for fantastic stat line of 6.7 points per game, 2.5 boards, 1.5 assists, and, a game. Very much a defensive player, can shoot a three-pointer. His dad played at Oregon Tech, and both his parents played professionally in Australia. Plays well at the Boomers level, where he probably gets a bit more responsibility with the ball in his hand. Solid play. He'll be in the league for a long time. That's a good card.
Yeah,
good one to start with.
Yeah, good one to start with. I like it. I did when I was doing this. I just looked at the trade that got him from Dallas, which I found quite interesting. So Charlotte acquired Josh Green and Reggie Jackson from Denver, a couple of second-round picks. This is the deal that got Klay Thompson to the Dallas Mavericks, which is interesting. So they got Klay Thompson. And from Charlotte, they got a second-round pick. Denver Nuggets got cash, a value unknown, which was great. And they generated a trade exception. So that's interesting. I always like that when they just trade cash. Golden State got Buddy Hield from Philadelphia and Kyle Anderson. So Kyle Anderson already gone. Buddy Hield had some moments. And then there was a bunch of pick swaps with 76ers, Timberwolves, that kind of thing. But he's part of that deal. Yeah. That got Klay Thompson. So he's a part of some type of history, I guess.
Yep. Yeah, that's cool. Is there...
Not that interesting for a podcast, but I thought it was... I enjoyed it.
Are you going to go with your card collecting even naturalized Australians? So maybe they played in the NBA as an American, but then became an Australian citizen?
So you're talking maybe a Kyrie Irving? No, he was born in Australia.
I'm talking your Ricky Grace style players.
Or maybe say Bryce Cotton say he got Australian citizenship.
Yeah, Darnell Mee, he was drafted.
Is D-Mac would be in naturalised?
Didn't play in the NBA.
I see. Interesting. No.
Leonard Copeland is a great example. Like when he played in the NBA, he was full-blooded American and then obviously played in Australia for many years and then became a naturalised Australian. Like, are you going to that level?
No, I think it's Australian-born.
Okay.
I think that's it. Any Australian-born Australians that grew up in Australia for a couple of days and that have an Australian passport. So Kyrie Irving does count on this list. And I think there's a list of... do you want to hear here's some names. I'm going to give you some names. Do you want to hear the names?
Yeah.
That's he's originally born in Sudan. No, I'm joking. Cough. We got... We've been running too long. 37 players. We've got 6 draftees coming up, by the way. Actually, this might even miss some people because I can already see... Oh, no, he's on there. Dingadell, David Anderson, Chris Anstey, Cameron Bairstow, Aaron Baines, Aaron Bogut, Jonah Bolden, Mark Bradkey, Ryan Brokoff, Xavier Cooks, Mitch Creek, Dyson Daniels, Matthew Dellavedova, Alex Ducasse, Dante Exum, Johnny Furphy, Andrew Gaze, Josh Giddey, Josh Green, Shane Hill, Isaac Humphries, Joe Ingles, Kyrie Irving, Nathan Jawar, just retired.
Jock
Landale, Luke Longley, Will Magnay, Thon Maker, Mangok Mathiang. He's playing in the NBL. Jack McVeigh, Paddy Mills, Duop Reith, Luke Schenscher.
Oh, Big Bird.
Ben Simmons, Matisse Thibault, Luke Travers, and Jack White. So a lot of these players, I don't even know if they have an NBA card.
Some of them, surely.
Some of them do. Like, I haven't been able to find David Anderson.
He would absolutely have an NBA card. He was in the league for a few years. Played at Houston.
Yeah, I know. He was in for quite a few years. I did find a David Anderson card eventually. But a lot of them, like a Chris Anstey, for example, or a Shane Hill. Andrew Gaze doesn't have an NBA card.
There you go.
Yeah. So, anyway, that's my new obsession. So, I'm going to be talking about that every single week, which, depending, because that segment didn't go as well as I hoped. I need to claim the tax deduction. All right. Another new segment.
Okay, you're coming in hot. Again, girlfriend's away. You've got a lot of time to think.
I've got a lot of things on my hands, Dools. But I thought we could have a look at sporting club reviews.
Yeah.
And we might need help from the smugglers out there because to help find, so if your sporting club has a review, a Google review, a Facebook review, we want to read them out, particularly the 1-star reviews, Dool. So I thought we'd start off with somewhere I knew might have some good Google reviews. So this is sporting club reviews at Victoria Park.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Okay, so look, one of the AFL teams I worked for was Collingwood a couple of years ago. Was there for a little while. We did the VFL games. Some of them were at Vic Park. So Leo Willie, 3 years ago, he's left 4 reviews. Has a picture of it. Looks like the Bont or Aaron Norton in his photo.
That's a naughty boy.
I have to say, this must be the most racist stadium. Stadium's a bit much. Not only does it host Collingwood FC, the most racially intolerant club, but it's also themed in just black and white, forgetting to include yellow and brown. Not very inclusive.
Nice one, Leo. Was that a Hawthorne reference, do you think?
Maybe, yeah. I don't know.
Who knows? But Charles May, these reviews are a bit more succinct. Charles May, this place stinks.
Yeah. Local Guide has left 57 reviews and 32 photos. Madison, singular name, 68 reviews, 9 photos, 7 years ago. Gave it 2 stars. Gross public toilets and needles everywhere. What would she need for a 1-star? That's a 1 star. How is that 2 stars?
Yeah, I know. Or like at least put some context. But beautiful trees, or you know what I mean. It could have been the cafe was lovely, but just gross public toilets and needles everywhere.
Yeah.
And then Daniel M about a year ago, 296 reviews. So he goes hard. DM.
Get out more.
It says perfect place to take your dog so it can take a nice big wet dump.
And his profile picture is the Carlton Football Club logo.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Look, and that was the thing. So when you played VFL games, it's one of the few grounds you'd have to do this. Because now Victoria Park is just open to public. Anyone can go on there. You would have to... we wouldn't necessarily do it like the officials would do it, but then we'd do one anyway because people would have their dogs there and the dogs would take a dump and you'd have to like get it cleaned up off the ground before the game started. So it's a bit happening there.
Loved it. You got a top 5, Dools?
I do have a top 5. This is a very niche top 5
Love
here.
a niche top 5.
So we get a lot of followers, like, you know, a lot of people following, and there was a man whose surname was Maltese, and being
Love
Maltese myself, like I thought, great, let's do my top 5 Maltese athletes to also be Australian.
Okay.
So
Sponsored by Maltesers.
Yeah, so sponsored by Chisk, yeah. So maybe they are Maltese or maybe they are just Maltese background. All right, so
What was the title again?
I don't know. Top 5 Maltese athletes in Australia.
Okay, love it. Let's go.
Okay, coming in at number 5, soccer hard man, Manny Muscat.
Oh, Manny Muscat. That's from a while ago, isn't it?
Yeah, what can you tell us about Manny Muscat?
He's related to Kevin Muscat, his brother.
Nope.
No.
I mean, they're probably related. I don't know.
Like, surely lives there. But yeah, he was just a Maltese hard man, Australian athlete. Played soccer.
Yeah, yes, yeah.
Yep.
Who did he play soccer for? Tell us what sort of player he was.
The Western Sydney Muskets. And he changed his name legally. Like the Ultimate Warrior legally changed his name to Warrior. He changed his name to the Muskets after the team.
Yep. Okay. Great. Okay. Yeah. Sure. I played for Wellington and someone else. All right. I'm coming in at number 4. We've got Madeline Sherry, who, of course, is an Australian swimmer of Maltese origin. She participated for Malta in the 2008 Olympics. But, you know, Australian swimmer of Maltese origin. She was born in Melbourne, Australia.
What do you think she'd eat before a big swim meet?
Oh, probably a few pastizzis, maybe a timpana, you know, like, you know, all of that sort of stuff.
Beautiful.
Okay, coming in at number, I don't know, what am I up to?
3.
Okay, so number 3, we've got, what's his name? I forgot his name.
Big names. These big name Maltese athletes.
Dylan Cicluna plays for Western Sydney Wanderers in the A-League. Is central mid, you know, but played for the Maltese underage squads.
What is the national sport of Malta?
I think it's like something shit like shooting or something.
Oh, okay.
We don't have a lot of space there, like, you know.
No, it's tiny.
Coming in at number 2, I'm actually going here with a Maltese international who's like born and bred from Malta. I got to find out where he's born actually. He's a former footballer and he did play in the A-League for one season and didn't do very well, you know, so that's not good. Hey, that's where he's from. Interesting. He played for the Sliema Wanderers in the Maltese Premier League. I'm talking about Michael
Johnny,
Mifsud.
Yes, that's what I was just about. Why did you cut me off for your dog?
Michael Mifsud coming in at number 2. He played a season at Melbourne Heart where he did not do very well at all.
Must have been. If he's playing for the Heart, he was on the tail end of his career.
Yeah, he played, I think he scored 1 goal in round 10 for them as a striker because he's a little, you know, we're not tall.
Yep.
So, and coming in at number 1, the king, the GOAT. I love him. You might love to hate him. I'm talking about Kevin Muscat.
Oh, Oh, sorry, I stood on your punchline. Is he Greek?
He's Maltese.
Maltese. What I say?
Yeah. Kevin Muscat, St. George Cross, we love you.
Kevin Muscat's great.
Yeah,
He's the victory man.
He's at Victory. He's coaching in China at the moment. One of the most hated players in British football for a period of time. No.
Coaching.
When he was playing, he coaches. Should be the coach of Rangers if they had any idea what they were doing. He played at Sunshine St. George Cross,
That's right.
which we love. Where some of my family members were on the board there, so we love Kevy, in Hobbelhafner, we love you, Kevin Muscat.
Good on you, Kevin Muscat. KM. 4 out of 5 are soccer players, Dawes?
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I was going to go, but there was a cricketer, but I wasn't 100% sure if he was actually Maltese or not, so I left him off.
Judo star Katrina Esposito. She's not.
Didn't make the cut.
She's not Australian. She never come to Australia.
Nah, not that I don't know. Maybe.
Anyway,
I could have gone with Joe Gauchi, who's in the Socceroos squad. As a goalkeeper. Jared Samet, of course, and James Tedesco. Tedesco was probably stiff. That's Maltese background there. Teddy.
Surely there was some AFL players with a Maltese background. Must be tons of them.
I don't know. Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
Probably.
I tell you, there's a lot of Australians in this.
Sorry, Jeff Fennick as well.
Jeff Fennick? Come on.
I've just done a little bit more research. Do you know what Fennick means in Maltese?
What's that?
Rabbit.
Yes.
Jeff Rabbit.
He was the Energizer Bunny, Jeff Fennick.
Yeah.
All right, can you just claim him as number 1 now?
Sure.
Yeah. Sick. Speaking about numbers, it's time for the Aussie Athlete Power Rankings, Doors. Oh, thank you. A lot of changes, but
Michael Zarafa as well could have been in there. They're all coming to me now that I've done this well-researched top 5.
Research during the pot.
Yeah.
After you did the...
Jared Keisha. I know Jared Keisha as well. He former Carlton player. Got angry a lot.
Fair enough. Aussie Athlete, but we've moved on, Dools. At number 10 in the Aussie Athlete Power Rankings, he had a big save. I went with Matt Ryan in the soccer.
Yeah, Matty Ryan.
Kind of a meaningless save at the end. It didn't matter, but it was a good one. Was it not?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
At number 9, she's gone down, even though she's had another win in the World Championship Series. It's Jess Fox.
Oh, yeah.
Kayaking.
Yep.
At number 8, a new entry that never been in here before. I've gone with Sam Darcy.
Oh, yeah. On your Das.
Came in, just took over off 6 weeks. I think he's probably the most influential single player in the AFL.
Sweet. I'll see if I can get him to acknowledge this.
Okay, great.
Yeah. Good Oakley Chargers, boy.
There we go. In number 7... running backwards at the moment, it's Lachlan Kennedy. Running backwards in terms of the top 10 power rankings. At number 6, sliding down as well just because of inactivity. They'll slowly make their way out of the... so 5 and 6, I've got Jack Della Maddalena at 5 and Alexander Volkanovski at 6. I don't know if I can completely drop them out of the power rankings, both of them being world champions. So maybe this is where they just kind of sit until we build up to the next fight. I'm not too sure yet. That could be 6 months away. At number 4, she didn't win, but she won our hearts. It's Guacamole Picklum. She's back in the top 10 after a second place finish in California over the weekend. In number 3, in hindsight, too high, but I was very excited. Adam Scott for being there, falling short. I mean, it's how Aussies like to golf, but Adam Scott in the golf comes in at number 3. At number 2, let me know if I've got this right or not, Jules, because I don't really know. But at number 2, I mean, it is big news, even though it was kind of quietly ushered through. But the Socceroos, they're into the World Cup. That's huge for us. I've got Mitch Duke for his goal and his assist. Seemed like he had the most influence on the game. Again, I don't have Paramount Plus, so how the fuck would I know? And at number 1, just to extend his dominance in the F1 championship, the F1 movie star and Brad Pitt's coming out this week. Who cares? I don't know why I said that. But Oscar Piastri still on top of the power rankings, Dools.
There you go. Well done to them. Well done.
That's it. Unless there's anything else you want to chat about, Dools?
Candace Falzon, also known these days as Candace Warner. I forgot about it. I was like, what's that? What's her name? Yep. Dave Warner's wife. She's Maltese.
Oh, there you go. What did you think of the new segments?
I mean, yeah. So I think there are sometimes food. Some of them. I think
not weekly.
Maybe the cards. When you get cards, we'll chat about them.
I got like 11 delivered.
Okay, so anyway, we got
3 more months of content.
Content galore. All right, what do you got on this week? Where can we find you?
Oh, you can find me somewhere on Friday. Somewhere. I feel like it's out east. I feel like it'll be a good show. I know Brad Oakes is on it.
Okay. That's going to be a good show.
Be a good show. And then on Saturday, Dools. Wait, what do you got before Saturday actually doing?
Thursday night, I'm playing at Welcome to Brunswick with Ray O'Leary and Bron Lewis. That is going to be a hot show. That is going to be a phenomenal one. And then Friday, I'm in Traralgon in Gippsland at a venue that I cannot remember the name of.
It's a cafe, I believe.
It is. I'm Tyson Popplestone. What's it called? They just followed me. The venue, Finally Mine Coffee. I'm doing a cafe night gig. I don't understand, but it should be good.
Oh man, if you're into Relgan and you love comedy, but you don't like Dooley that much, I'm also into Relgan the week after. I don't know where I'm at though. No, go see Dools.
Yes, that'd be great with Tyson Popplestone and Gavin Semple, and then Saturday night, Stevie B, take it away.
Oh, this Saturday night, it's 4 comedians, 4 beers at Ocean Reach Brewing. Every time a comedian comes out, you get another beer. It's a great deal. You, me, our friend Zach Riley, Hannah Sainty. It's going to be a fun night. I think we've still got about 15 tickets left, so they probably will sell out. So as we know the last week, that's when all the tickets move. So if you're listening to this, you haven't got your ticket yet, you can jump in the link on the bio, look it up. If you're in the Phillip Island area, get your tickets. That's going to be a fun show, Dools, and I cannot wait for that.
Yeah, it's going to be a belter. I think I'm matched with the Pilsner.
Yes.
So that's good. Good way to end the show. Pilsner and me.
It was good. I'm in Patterson Lakes.
Patterson Lakes.
Do you know where that is?
Is that where they do Kath and Kim? Is that Patterson Lakes?
Could be. Maybe I'm doing Kath and Kim. It's near just before Carrum Downs.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, right. What gig's that?
No idea.
Okay. Well,
but I'm looking forward to it.
Wonder if you're wandering around Patterson Lakes, just listen.
You hear some laughter at about 7:30.
Yeah, if you hear someone asking about, basketball cards, follow him.
Have you seen my Josh Green? All right, that's it. Nice work as always, Dools.
Thank you, smugglers. See you next week.